Right, so gonna replace that oven with this one. I think, right, is the lid. Yeah, I'm just gonna hardwire this in. Should be easy. Right. So that was good. So what they got here? Let's see what they've got here. Oh, okay. So they've linked from there to there. So that's all good. Right. Well, so this circuit, 32 amp circuit, which I assume is a 6mm. I was doing a circuit. I had to put an oven in a couple of months ago. What it was, redo a kitchen actually. The people were redoing their kitchen and they had a hob in which was 6 kilowatts, and then the oven was 2.99 kilowatts, and they only had one circuit. Saying, I was reading in the regs that ovens over 2 kilowatts you shouldn't plug into the ring circuit. Anyway, so yeah, it says you for 2 kilowatts you shouldn't plug into the ring circuit. It should have its own circuit. So to run a new circuit in for that alone, it was an occupied place, and that would have been a hard job. Plus, it'd have to be surface trunking. So what I then had a bright idea, which is not really that bright to be honest. You had it come to mind. Okay, hold up. When you have a freestanding cooker with an oven and a hob, it's just the same as having a hob and a separate oven, and they're on the same circuit. So I can put this on the same circuit. But then I worked it out, because you had to, with adding diversity in, I'm sure you know what diversity is. It's taking into consideration that you've got an oven and you've got 4 rings. It's unlikely you're going to have them all on at the same time. And even if you do have them all on at the same time, it's not going to be for a prolonged period. Maybe the oven might be on longer, but the hobs and that you probably won't know. So when you had diversity, 10%, 10%, and then 30%. So you got to work it all out. Anyway, it worked out to be about 20 amps or something like that. When you had 6 kilowatts plus 2.99 kilowatts divided by 230 volts, then worked it out like that. When you look in the on-site guide, it tells you how to work out diversity anyway, so I'm not going to go over it now. I did go over it in that job. It was a big drama. When I look at it now, I was making a big drama, because it says in the on-site guide that 32 amps can go up to, you can have 15 kilowatts, a cooker of 15 kilowatts on 32 amps, which if I hadn't seen that, I wouldn't have thought. I'd be thinking, well, you'd have to put a 10 million for that. But that's why I say to young Sparkies, check that on-site guide. People like me, yeah, people like me of my vintage, we go by urban myths. We go by what you've been taught, because coming up in the trade, remember I started in the early 70s, and if you were putting in the cooker circuit, if it was pyro, you could use 2.5, but once it's twin and earth or singles, it's 6mm. But apparently, I was looking at something from that John Ward. I like that guy, he's really good, John Ward. And what he was saying in his video is that those sort of ratings, like using 6mm cable, is something from back in the day when you used to have, because remember, when you're using 30 amp fuses, yeah, the cable has to be 6mm. Now that we've got circuit breakers, I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but you can check John Ward out, check out the diversity on that. And now that we got the circuit protection is different, you can use up to 4mm. You can use 4mm, because 6mm isn't really, you don't really necessarily need to use 6mm. But the thing is, most people, I think, especially people like me, you go by what you've been taught from year in, year out. And then I noticed that in new installations, like when they refurb old flats and that, a big project, you go in there, they've used 10 mil. I started noticing that in the, I think in like the 90s and that. But according to John Wall, that's all well over the top. You don't need all that. Okay, I would commonly use 6 mil. If I saw 15 kilowatts, I'd be thinking, no, you got to use 10 mil for that. That's what I would have thought. But apparently it says it in the regs. You don't have to. So this here is, the OB is 6.4 kilowatts, 6,400 watts. Oven is 2.99 kilowatts. So when you add it all up, it comes to about 40 amps. This is fine. So now, because I was thinking I'd have to hardwire this, but I was looking at the manufacturer's data. Because it didn't come with a plug, I'm thinking you can't plug it in. But it doesn't say anywhere in the manufacturer's data that you can't plug it in. There you go. So, okay, so that's that. Okay, so now I'm going to just put a little ZS test on that just to make sure. Okay. That's all good. Yep, early click. So let's push it to here a click. This little thing clicks in and holds it in place. If you want it, you press it down and pull it out. Right, okay. Yeah, that was a simple job. No problem. The only thing is, there wasn't I couldn't see a cooker switch. It seems like they've just come straight from the fuse board into the outlet and then linked across for the oven to be plugged in. That's not right, is it? I'm sure you're supposed to have an isolator switch. I think. I don't know what the reg says, but I'm sure I was reading something on that. You should have an isolator because they've got recommendations in kitchens. That's like in, I think, the building regs, part P, but I'm not sure what it says in the IE regs. But I couldn't see a switch, and usually it should be pretty near, so you could use it quickly if necessary. But I couldn't see one, but that's not my problem. All I had to do is connect the oven. So that's all done. Nice one.